Peanut, come here. You got hay all up on you.
They're not. They're dreadlocks, dude. I'm a hippie.
Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. In today's video, we're gonna weld this thing up. You didn't think I was gonna actually hire a welder, did you? So after a ton of research and planning and also support from Facebook, Instagram, as well as my YouTube subscriber, Boat to Boat, I believe is your username, I have purchased a welder. Now there is a huge backstory on this, and I have already filmed probably a 15 to 20 minute video that's gonna be posted over on my Patreon page, and it's a just for you video. And my Patreon supporters get a lot of just for you videos, and they are, as they say, just for you. They will never be posted onto YouTube. It's important to tell you that this entire build is brought to you by the Patreon supporters. If it wasn't for them, this build would not happen. If you are interested in supporting this build as well as supporting me in the content that I create, please go check me out on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you'll get advanced access to all my content. That's this build as well as my regular tiny house, as well as behind the scenes videos where I do a lot of questions. I ask questions to help guide this build, as well as just for you videos like I was just describing. So I was gonna hire a contractor to come out and weld this. I was gonna pay him $140 to come and weld up all these cross beams. And then I started talking to Boat to Boat basically, and he really convinced me to look into this model right here. This is a Harbor Freight welder. It's the cheapest welder you can possibly buy. There are comparable models to it, but as far as accessibility, this was at the easiest way to get a welder. So I went and picked this up. It cost me $109. I also bought a welding mask for $50. I got some wire snippy things. I don't know what they do, but they do stuff. Some leather gloves for welding, and I got 2 magnets. I spent, oh, and I also got a grinding wheel, or a wire brush wheel. I spent about $210, which was about $100 over what I was budgeted on this project, but I think that's okay. I'm walking away with a welder. I did message my welder about this, and he said that it would not be sufficient enough to do this type of work, but I've done some tests on the front, and I feel like it is sufficient. So now, like I said, this is the cheapest welder you can possibly buy. You can only really weld with this thing for about 2 minutes, and then it shuts off for about 10 minutes. So I need to be very careful about my welding. I did notice with my practice weld that the 3-inch C-channel that I got was a softer metal than the 1970s steel that was the cross beams. So I need to focus more of my attention on the 70s steel versus the current age steel. But I'm gonna weld this thing up, and I'm gonna hope it goes well. I'm gonna show you what I know, but I don't know anything. So please do not do anything that I do in this video. As far as welding goes, you should definitely hire a contractor to do this, but it is expensive to hire a welder to come and weld stuff for you. You're looking at spending about $80 if you bring it to them, and then you're looking at about $110 to $120 an hour to have them come to you to do the project. I've had a hellacious nightmare getting my welder to come and do this work, so that is the reason I bought this. This has definitely opened up a lot more possibilities with the things that I build, so overall I'm happy. So a little bit about this machine. It is a flux core welder, so it emits flux. It does not have gas in it. The way gas and flux work is it prevents impurities from getting to your weld, so the flux shields the weld and it makes it stronger basically. And same with gas. From the research I've done, if you're welding outside, you should use a flux core welder. If you're welding indoors, you should use a gas welder. Again, I am ignorant to this whole topic, but I'm gonna do my best to get this thing welded up and then get it painted in this video. So right now I'm gonna get these things all tacked up in the right location, and then I'm gonna start welding it down. Listen, I am not gonna repeat it again, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've just done minimal research on welding, so Again, everything I say is just stuff that I've read, so please, 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 please be careful if you're gonna weld. There's a huge liability that comes with welding, as well as your safety, so do your own research. I'm gonna tell you what I did, even though I might verb it in a way that sounds like I'm trying to help you. This is what I'm doing, okay? I'm used to helping people, but this is not helping. I'm probably doing more damage than good. But this is a welding mask. It is a auto adjusting. On the side here, there is different settings for welding. I'm gonna set it at a 13. My welder said to set it at an 11. I read the manual, it said between 10 and 13 you should set it at. I'm gonna set it higher than it should be because I don't wanna go blind. There's adjustments on it to fit your head. I got a fat head, so I made it big. And it's a cheap welding mask, but it does everything that it needs to do. And there's also different settings on the inside of the mask that you can adjust to sensitivity, minimum, maximum. I don't even know. I don't know. Now this welder I did my research on this thing. I read the owner's manual before I purchased it, and then I read every review that was on Harbor Freight's website. I read all the 1-star ratings and I read all the 5-star ratings. The 1-star ratings were generally people that did not read the owner's manual. The biggest negative complaint was that the wire feed did not work well, and that was because they had this over tensioned. So there's a tension setting on this thing. You want to make sure it's good. Read the owner's manual before you use a welder like this. It will educate you immensely. So I'm gonna turn it on. There's a wire feed speed. I have found that it says to do it at a 9, but since I'm running so far from my outlet, I found a lower wire speed was better. I'm gonna set the thing to max, turn it on, and we are ready to go. There's two things that are gonna make up a welder: a ground and then your feed gun, basically. This has a wire that comes out. You push the trigger and it comes out. You see it? Like, Now I gotta cut that. That sucks. Here, we'll just cut it like this. So, when you're welding, you want this thing to be about a 1/2 inch, no more. I found the closer it is, the better it is. But you connect this to raw metal. You don't want to have paint on it, you want to have raw, pure metal, okay? Connect this onto some surface. So I'm going to put this first piece in. I want to make sure it's flush on the top. I want to make sure that both these points are good. And I want that C-channel facing in this direction so I can put my brake lights and turn signals inside of this so they won't get ripped off. I'm going to hook my ground clamp into this, and I'm going to wiggle a little bit so it wears away any of the impurities in there. But right now I'm going to tack all these pieces in, and then I'm going to go back and do some good welding. Now there is many negatives with this welder, one being the short lead wire right here, or whatever the fuck this thing's called. I've got an extension cord to it, and the extension cord is thick enough to supply this thing. So when you're welding, you want to go in like a weave pattern. You want to go back and forth in between the chamfers that you've created. So I'm going to start where I did my tack, and I'm just going to come back and forth all the way across. You know, if you want to learn how to do some welding, there's a YouTube channel called Chucky 2009. That will be my recommendation for this video, is Chucky 2009. He's got probably like 175,000 subscribers. Overly sponsored, so his videos are kind of commercialish now, but he does good welding, and he's well educated in how to weld. So watch his videos on how to weld. Watch my videos to be entertained. Fuck me right in the ass. I mean, that's a fucking good weld, except for that one point right there. I'm really happy with that. I'm not sure if it's the helmet or the flux that causes the insane headaches. It's not even funny. So I cut this one like a 1/16 inch short. So I can't get the magnets to hold it. So all I'm just gonna do is take a ratchet strap, or in this case a come along, and I'm gonna pull these two main beams in together so I can get this piece to stay in there. Maybe not. Holy shit, almost knocked it over. Save yourself the hassle in the comments. Peanut is not gonna be seen in this video, okay? I know. Welding light can damage eyeballs. Even dogs. Don't walk into the shot, okay? People go crazy. It's fucking ridiculous.
Don't worry, I will not do it.
Grounded, on, fire. Oh shit. Fuck me. Oh, thank God I didn't knock the camera over. 4,000 pound capacity. Clearly we have reached its capacity. Can't believe it fell off the fucking blocks. Level enough for me. I don't know what this video has become, but it's not what I envisioned in my head. I just got discouraged this morning, and I apologize for being a negative Nancy. Things are working out. It's gonna take multiple drinking breaks. So I went inside and I took a break, and then I didn't come back outside. So this is a new day. Amazing. As many of you know, I work a night shift, so I'm coming off 12 hours of work. So I'm tired. So I'm just gonna finish tacking these up. That's what I'm gonna do right now. It's pretty simple, right? Peanut, you gotta go in your crate. Go in your crate. Go in your crate.
And I'm just gonna stand right here. No one will see me, okay? It'll be fine. Everybody will be fine with me in the backgrounds.
No, Peanut, you gotta go. Go inside.
I refuse to be treated like a dog.
Well, that's bright. When you look into it like that, it's bright light. I feel like they're good. I don't care what people have to say. I think they're good. So I've had a couple days off with this project, so I've been able to research a little bit more about flux core welding. If you don't know, there's many different ways of welding. Flux core, which is a MIG. Well, this is a MIG welder, I believe. There's also like a rod that's got flux on it. What's that called? TIG welding? I'm gonna piss off all the welders because I know I brought in a lot with the first trailer build I did. There was a lot of welders. Oh, that is fucking delicious. That is the best drink I've ever made. Yes, it's 8 a.m., but remember, I just got off work. So it's technically like 8 p.m. Do you see the smoke that comes off of it? I have no idea if that's good to breathe or not, but I'm assuming it's not. And I think that's what causes the headaches. And so they say to use this in a well-ventilated area. So I'm outside, but I really need like a big gust of wind when I weld because that smoke's really bad. I don't know. It's probably causing cancer in the brain or something. And another thing about flux core welding is that it's messy. It's probably the messiest type of welding you can do. There's a lot of splatter. You got to go back and clean all this flux up. I just ordered my siding today. It was like $1,400. And I said to him, do you give contractors a discount? And he said to me that we don't give a set discount to contractors, but let me see what I can do for you. And then he said, $1,350. I said, I don't know. And I started acting like a cheap ass. And he's like, you know, the best I can do is $1,260. I said, good, I'll take it. So I got about a third of my siding. I'm hoping it's more than a third. Oh, I'm fucked. You gonna learn today? Uh-oh. Man, he just pulled in here. Shut his shit off right when he pulled in. Peanut, run.
I don't have warrants. You do, you dumbass.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Didn't think it was not gonna not happen. Will you stay for a second while I weld this side? Fuck you, you piece of shit. I know you guys hate when I talk about like negative comments and stuff. Well, you don't hate it, but you just like give me reassurance that I'm doing good. I know I'm doing good, but it's still, they suck. I had a Patreon supporter last night message me and tell me basically that I was the devil because I swear and drink too much. Not true. Not true. I don't drink enough. He was misinformed. Fuck you.
Platform for it or something, I don't know, something like that.
Why won't you stay up? Because you're $50 helmet, you're not $200 helmet. Makes complete sense. Great, break it, that's even better. When you weld stuff, it'll pull stuff towards the weld. So like, if this was out a square leaning out this way, if I weld on this side, it should, in my head, or from what I think I know, it should pull it this way. It didn't do that though. I had a theory and it, theory failed. Everything is tacked now to weld for many, many minutes. But I can't weld for many minutes because the welder only welds for 10 minutes and then it gets angry. Don't quote me on this, but these are gonna hurt me at some point in this build. I'm going to get hurt on these. I kind of feel in this region I'll get some type of wound. Just keep that in mind. It's gonna happen. So everything's tacked up now. Now with a flux core welder, you don't want to be welding over flux, so you need to clean it off. You can use there's this little hammer thing with a point that chips the flux off. You can use a wire brush, or you can use a wire wheel. I'm gonna use a wire wheel because it's just quicker and easier. Just wear safety glasses because apparently these wires come flying off. That flux hurts when it comes off. I'm gonna edit that and make it look like I did every single one, but is the audio better? I changed some settings again. Still getting used to this mic. I hope it's better. So this is the first project that I've actually reached out to my social media following that I have, Facebook, Instagram. My Patreon supporters have definitely been a huge part of this. So one thing I noticed with this welder is that I'm not getting good penetration on this older steel. It's really hard compared to this newer stuff. I had a couple people say that I need to heat the metal up. I'd love to say one of your names, but there were several of you that said it, and pretty much all of you that commented on either the pictures or the videos that I posted. I thank you so much for helping me with this, because I really don't know what I'm doing. But I did some additional research on heating the steel up, and that seems to be something that you should do, I guess. Now I don't have a oxymoron acetylene torch. Oxymoron acetylene torch. That's it. I'm gonna go with that. Oxyacetylene. Is that it? Oxyacetylene? Oxygen acetylene. It's got two freaking things. One of them might be orange, one might be green. I don't know. You turn two knobs, you got this thing, a big flame comes out and things happen. I don't know what it is, but I don't have one of them. But what I do have is a propane torch thing, you know? If you're on Patreon, you've seen me start a fire with this thing. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna use that to heat up this one. This is my most important beam right here. There is a structural wall that will be on this beam. So this is crucial that this one is really good. Now with heating up the metal, you could warp it, twist it and weaken it. So I want to be careful. I don't want to make it cherry red hot. Somebody said the color of hay. I live on a farm and there's hay right there. You've probably seen it in the back shot. There's hay and it's brown. I've never seen metal get brown. I know he doesn't mean green. Let's try that. The grass kind of caught on fire right there, so I'm kind of scared about that. Go quicker, quicker. You're not going quick enough. I mean, it's a little shitty. It looked like I was getting good penetration. It's not the prettiest weld, but I think I got pretty good penetration. Oh, it's ugly inside there, but I mean, I'll get better by the end. By the time I do the last one, it'll be pretty. So my last bit of advice, and again, this is what I've learned. I said I wasn't going to repeat it, but you want to be 45 degrees to the two pieces that you're welding together if you're welding in this direction. And then you want to tilt the gun up. If you're coming from the bottom up, you want to be tilted up and come this way. If you were going to weld down, you want to have the gun facing up a little bit and come down. So you're pulling your weld. You're not pushing into your thing, because the slag will get trapped underneath the weld and that causes problems. Whoa, that's fucking hot. So I'm going to weld up the rest of these beams and thingies and all that stuff. I'll clean the flux off and then we're going to paint it. I mean, I could show you 50% of that weld and you'd be impressed. I'm going to say, since I can see that there's damage done to the primer that I have on the backside, that it was hot enough. All right, since it is the hottest day of the year, probably it's going to be like 140. It's not really, but it's going to be hot today. I'm going to stop filming, and when we come back, this will be done. It'll be welded up. The welds will be cleaned off. I'm going to wire brush all the welds. I can't paint over the flux, so I'm going to clean off all the welds. I'll probably grind the top so it's a little bit smoother. Sometimes I have little bubbles in it that I'm just going to take down a little bit, and then we will yeah, and then we'll come back, we'll paint it. I already said that, but we'll do it. You know, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. But it's just too hot for the camera. The camera's yelling at me. It's like, hey babe, I'm too hot. All right, so I got all those pieces welded up completely. I did around the entire piece of C-channel. Not the best welds, not the prettiest welds, but most of them you won't see. You'll see two on the back, but it's all good. And then I put down one coat of the primer on the new pieces I put on, and then I did a second coat on the whole thing, kinda. Just touched it up here and there. So now I'm gonna go mix up some black paint, and we're gonna paint this thing black. So I'm gonna be using Rust-Oleum. Obviously, it's really the only kind of paint you should use on metal. Rust-Oleum, a black gloss. Now I will be applying the Rust-Oleum with a spray gun like that. So I need to thin this out so it'll work in the gun. If you read the back of the can, it says to mix it with some acetone. So I got everything I need. I got a little dish to mix stuff in. Probably not the best thing to use, but it'll work. Now you could paint this on by hand if you wanted to, but that's no fun. I'm gonna mix up a half a gallon. So I did some research online, and from what I read, from what I read, you want to mix this to be like the consistency of spray paint. So if you were like to pour spray paint into a little cup or something, you want the thickness, you want the consistency to be that. So pretty watery. Now this is a Harbor Freight spray gun, so it's really cheap. So oh man, I'm just gonna get covered in black, and then I gotta work tonight. So you can see how watery that is. You see how it's just like, yeah. It's gonna be a real thin first coat. I'll probably end up doing two, so, but maybe when it's so thin, then it's gonna run easier, but I'm not really concerned with the quality of paint job. You're only gonna see a little bit of the trailer. Professional painter would run this through a filter, but oh boy, come on, be successful. Be successful. Be successful. Be. Oh, stop. Yo, that was pretty damn good. Instead of using my little compressor, I'm gonna use this big boy. It's got a larger tank, so you have more air, so it's gonna be better for painting. So just like welding, I don't know what I'm doing with painting, really. I mean, I kind of do, but so I'm not really concerned with running in the paint. So anywhere I have a weld, I'm really going to soak it down because they're real jaggy, they're not smooth. Water could potentially puddle in those, cause rust. And over time, it's not going to be, it'll eat away at the metal and it'll eventually break it. So I'm going to soak these. Oh, that looks good already, baby. Don't quote me on any of this. You know what? You know how I'll verb it? I'll say, so what I'm doing, you like that? So I'm gonna stay about 8 inches away from the surface square to it. And when you pull the trigger, air will come out. If you pull all the way on the trigger, then it lets the paint out. I hope you can see that. So you're always gonna hear the air, but when you come off the end, you just let off the trigger a little bit. Now another thing about this gun is there's different settings. They all do different things. So one of them lets more air in, one of them changes the trigger depth that you would push it to let stuff happen, I guess. I don't know. Another one controls how much paint comes out. You kind of just have to play with them. You can have this thing, you can turn it sideways, so you'll end up with like a flat line of paint this way, or you can have it go like this way. I don't know which way it's going, but it's going. I'd like to lift this thing up about 10 feet in the air. That would make it easier to paint, I think. I can hear them now. Safety police going ape shit crazy. Oh, if that falls, somebody could die. Bean, what do you say?
So you are releasing toxins into the air, okay? It's ridiculous.
So I have finished spray painting this. Now this took many days to do this. I actually broke my spray paint gun. I had to go buy another one, and this one has worked like 300 times better than that the last one I had. I really like this one. It worked out so much better. Put a lot more paint down quicker. But I basically did one full coat, thick coat of black paint on the trailer. I really did a lot of paint on the front half because a lot of that's going to be exposed to the weather. Pretty much the entire last 10 feet. The only thing that'll be exposed is the bottoms of these two main beams and the axles. So really the only reason I put the paint on was for rust prevention. All right, before I die of heat exhaustion, let's end this video. Did I mention that I used almost a gallon of paint? It's about right here, but that's also mixed with acetone already. So, well, that's done. I'm ready to move on to the next step on this project. Now, I've been talking with my Patreon supporters, and it seems like the next thing they want to see is the registration of the trailer, which I think is a huge part of building a tiny house trailer. How do you register it? What do you do? What do you do? So I'm going to take you along for the way it's done in North Carolina, and then I'll also do some more research about like the most strict states and see what they've got, and I'll add that into the video to help people, but it's kind of going to be a North Carolina specific because it's registering anything in different states is completely different. So I'll take you along for the ride. But if you would, please, please, please consider joining me on Patreon. Just $1 a month, you'll get advanced access to all my content. You'll be supporting this build. The more people we have supporting this build, the quicker it'll go, and the more fun, nice, cool things we can put in it. It's so hot, it's not even funny. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, thumbs up. I'm sick of your great knowledge down there, but I can't stop you from leaving it there. I can delete it, but you want to see what happened? Oh, it looks nice. Look at that. Look at that. Woo! So you might have already seen some of these videos because I'm not sure when that video will come out for YouTube, but there's going to be a lot of this coming and some more of that. I don't know. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next video. What do I have? A bib? What am I wearing? A bib? It was a mask. It was a dust mask. I'm gonna go take a bath in paint remover. It's probably not good for your skin, but that is going to look sick. Oh, I'm proud of that. Oh yeah, and another thing, we're gonna do the split mini soon, so that might get worked into this soon because I got all the stuff. Really, I can hook that up. That might be a good idea. Might be.